In conjunction with clients, we have identified specific fixtures that utilise 80% of materials and processes currently used in retail fixtures today. We have challenged these to create alternative units using novel eco-materials and manufacturing processes that do not add cost. We have also developed an e-badge app which can scan a barcode giving environmental information. As an explanation of what 4G do, we're a business that has been going 6 years now. We set up on the back of a multi-million-pound design, development and build company concentrating on retail fixtures. And we've worked with De Montfort University developing a way for designers such as myself to make informed decisions about sustainability when concentrating on new designs for retail. Everything that we do is driven towards taking cost out. We believe there's a real misnomer out there that going green costs money, and we've proven time and time again that in reality, if you go green, it will take cost out. We've undertaken 4 projects to try and prove the data that we're trying to put forward. A supermarket shelving system that has been around for 25 years now has never been really challenged in terms of design, and we've taken it right back to basics. We have taken approximately 25% of the material out of it and actually probably made it stronger. A retailer's waste stream, and understood what we can and can't do with that waste stream, and we've redesigned the waste matter into actual product that they can then resell as a true cradle to cradle, and also developed a POS unit to display them on. A standard POS crisp display, looked at the number of components within it, drastically reduced the number of parts, and looked at a novel way of using new recycled materials rather than just standard traditionals. Wooden cabinet that can be utilised within many retail outlets, and we've challenged why it's always made out of MDF, why is it always made out of laminate. These will nearly always go to landfill, they're never deconstructed, and how can we now build a cabinet that will look the same, do the same job, but has the ability to be 100% recycled. It's clear that 80% of carbon and 80% of cost within fixtures is determined between the concept visual and a prototype, and it's that area there that we need to challenge, which is what the eco-mapping tool is designed to do. First of all, minimise, and we've decided to show the principle of that on the shelf bracket for the supermarket shelving. An old company of mine used 3,000 tonnes of steel making shelf brackets every year, so we decided to punch holes in it, taking out 50% of that, and that puts 1,500 tonnes of steel back in circulation, enough to make 1,500 minis. That equates to these raw material savings. We've used the same principle that we've done with the shelf bracket on the rest of the shelving system, uprights, back panels, etc., to establish how much waste we can create that is usable waste that will reduce weight and also gives material back to be recycled. Showing these results to a major supermarket, they were so impressed with what we'd established, they've now instructed a prototype to be made for verification. An example of minimising on the cabinet is, because the cabinet is made from printed eco-sheet, an eco-sheet being recycled plastic, we've now minimised the number of different materials by all of the fixtures, fittings, hinges, etc. are now plastic, so there's no need for deconstruction at the end of life. It can go into a crusher for recycled plastic. One of the materials we have used is eco-sheet, which is made from recycled rigid plastic. With eco-sheet and other eco-friendly materials being manufactured in the UK, this has a potential impact on employment and shortening the supply chain with corresponding environmental benefits. Here is what the experts have to say about working with eco-sheet.
It's easy to handle when you put it on and off the machine. There's no weight there at all, which is really good. It's less stress for the cutter, like when you do MDF or chipboard, it won't last as long as it would if you did an eco board, so it's good for the cutter around really. It's good on your cutters because it's when you're using MDF and chipboard, it wears your cutter down a lot, where on this one it seems to be right cutter friendly, I would say. I mean, see, we haven't sprayed it. I don't know if you can spray it, that material, but I mean, machining and definitely the weight issue is a lot better for us than MDF, a lot better.
Durability on the cabinet, because we've been able to V-groove and heat bend the corners of the cabinet. We have no exposed areas where we have joint issues that can be knocked and damaged and edging being ripped off. And also in terms of durability, because it's lighter, it's less likely to get damaged during manhandling. Eco materials, there are several new ones on the market with a bit of imagination and creative thinking, can be utilised within standard retail equipment at no extra cost. For instance, straw board can replace chipboard, eco sheet can replace MDF, recycled glass tops can replace solid surfacing such as Corian. Obviously, for environmentally friendly materials that we've used in the cabinet are printed eco sheet, which is 100% recycled rigid plastic, which is printed, everything is plastic on it, so again everything can be reused and recycled at the end of life rather than landfill as traditional MDF and laminate cabinets. Cradle to cradle. We've been working with B&Q and understanding some of their waste streams. Currently they use extruded fluted polyprop in their signage, which currently they use 250 tonnes a year of that. We've been managed to chip that and remould it as an injection moulding, and we've designed some innovative new products for them to resell, such as paint trays and birdhouses, etc. Cradle to cradle on the cabinet, obviously as mentioned before, the whole thing is made out of recycled rigid plastic in the first place, and because we've utilised plastic fixtures and fittings on it, again the whole thing can be recycled as rigid plastic and in theory made back into another cupboard. Life cycle. This is one area that the majority of designers tend to ignore, and they focus too heavily on the product. 4G's approach to managing life cycle is e-badge. The unit will have an e-badge on it, discreetly placed, and then you take the 4G app, scan it. It's now captured the unit, searching for it, it's found it on the database, and within that you press documents and you'll see a whole range of documents ranging from deconstruction drawings, how to assemble it, risk assessments, health and safety, waste handling contact details, so it's got every chance to then be recycled.
De Montfort University has evaluated the benefits of the projects and the case studies and looked at how the design developments, changes, innovation, use of novel materials and manufacturing processes has benefited the development of the individual project. The summary slide presents these findings and looks at the individual cases. For each of the projects, there is evidenced cost savings in manufacture, total cost of ownership and end of life. In all the projects, there is evidence that the materials that have been used are able to be recycled in standard waste streams at the end of life. All the projects have been designed in such a way that no material should go to landfill. In addition, the focus groups that we have conducted demonstrate that in terms of visual appearance, there is no discernible difference between the two cupboard designs, and that the focus group perceived them to present the products and the brands in exactly the same way. The crisp display unit, a lot of the members of the focus groups preferred the innovative design and the fact that it presented a stronger shelf standoff for the product range than the original. In all cases, it's important that sustainability is integrated into a clear brand offer. And these focus groups has demonstrated that using alternative sustainable materials, innovative methods of manufacture have in no way diminished the product presentation. The TSB Feasibility Study, in collaboration with 4G Design and De Montfort University, have identified a number of barriers to engagement with sustainability within the retail sector. These have been summarised under the three headings of cultural change, lack of knowledge, and disengagement with end of life. Cultural change. In this context, the client's management structure is isolated and siloed, which restricts the ability to change the way they do things. This in turn makes decision-making difficult, and there is an inability to adopt and integrate sustainable approaches to design. Lack of knowledge. The project has also identified that clients, designers and indeed manufacturers have a lack of knowledge about sustainability. In terms of end of life, the project also identified that many manufacturers, clients and suppliers disregard end of life and do not consider it as part of their responsibility whilst designing.
This project has evidenced that you can make better use of materials in a world that is already facing increasing international competition for resources. By evidencing financial savings within the product and life cycle, this will act as a call to action for industry members to engage with a sustainable design-led strategy and take one step closer to a circular economy.